السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا guys. ما نديك الزمان. I'm a bit late today, I know. But better late than never, guys. This is a live stream Saturdays where I try to answer some of your questions and just kind of find out what's happening, what the latest is. If you guys are not familiar with my YouTube channel, I make videos to help people understand better about the Arabic language, Quran, Hadith, fiqh, and various other topics that you guys can check out for yourself. Right, so let's check out some of you guys. What's the latest, man? What's the latest? So, wa alaikum assalam, Muaz, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaban, welcome. I'm very good, thank you very much. I hope you're well. Hope you're having a wonderful time. Boxing MMA fan, ahlan wa sahlan. What's the latest, bro? What are you saying, man? And Zop or Exop, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaban. Welcome to all of you guys to this live stream. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves and doing what you're supposed to be doing on Saturdays, which is resting, chilling out, guys. Saturdays for chilling out, yeah? Okay, so let's see what you guys are saying. Rona, alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, ahlan wa sahlan. I'm very good, thank you very much. Mr. Jannah, wa alaikum assalam, Mr. Jannah, that's a good name. Wa alaikum assalam. What do you need to do to enter the highest level of Jannah? I don't know. Just try your best. Say the kalima, accept Islam, be regular with your prayers, your fasting, inshallah, and just strive well to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is it permissible for a cashier to scan alcohol products? Yes, it's permissible. All right, let's check out Curious Cat. So I might not be on long today, guys. Right, so I'm not going to be on long. I'm probably just going to be on till about 11ish. And then that's it. Okay, let's check out some Curious Cat. Let's see what Curious Cat is saying. Okay, so okay, so can you clarify what you meant by this tweet? If you started it for the sake of Allah, then you can also stop it for His sake. Okay, so I'll put this tweet up a few days ago, and someone's asked, what do I mean by this? Right. So if you start something for the sake of Allah, then you can basically stop it for the sake of Allah. So what I meant is that sometimes, guys, I apologize. I'm going to have to speak in writing language here. It's my writing language. What I meant by this is that sometimes you start a project or job or any initiative for the sake of Allah, and then later on it doesn't stay consistent with bringing you closer to Allah because you start getting involved in things that are acts of disobedience to Allah. In that case, you need to consider stopping it. Guys, you like that? You like that tone when I answer? Nice and calm and relaxed. I sound like a robot. Zob, alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. I am confused about the Isha times in summer. Isha time starts when it's still quite bright on many timetables. Can I still read Maghrib at this time? So yeah, so this is a big problem with the northern hemisphere, and this masala originally occurred about 400 or 500 years ago, and it was known as the Masala al-Bulghar. When Muslims reached Bulgaria, then because of the place that they were at, which is called the latitude, so the latitude on Earth, they found that in the summer times the the whiteness on the horizon did not used to disappear for Isha. So according to Abu Hanifa rahimullah, for Isha to start, the whiteness has to disappear. This wasn't disappearing in May, June, like that. So some of them had like big disputes about this. In fact, a few Hanafis said there's no Isha, but then lots of scholars did a rebuttal on them, wrote books against that opinion, and said that this is an invalid opinion. There will always be Isha, but it's just how you're going to figure out Isha now, because now you're not going to follow the disappearance of the whiteness. So this is why Hanafis came out with different approaches of how to pray the Isha. So do you pray the Isha according to 1 hour after Maghrib, or do you follow the closest country that still has a valid Isha time? So you just use their time, or do you just delay your Isha all the way just before Fajr, and then you pray your Isha and then you pray your Fajr straight after that? Yeah, so there were like various opinions about this. I personally follow the 1 hour. So as soon as Maghrib is done, 1 hour after that, I pray my Isha, or if the mosque prays it. Sharif Willow, alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan, ya sadiqi, ya habibi, ya amriki. Do the angels AI? Oh, do the angels AI? Do the angels al. هل الجو حار اليوم؟ لا، الجو بارد. الجو ممطر. نعم، اليوم نزل مطر كثير جدا من الصباح إلى الآن ينزل المطر. Do the angels also write the words of action who is quoting someone else's? Everything the angels are writing down, every single thing they're writing down. Whatever you're saying, they're writing it down. Whether you're quoting it, whether you're saying yourself, it's all being written down. How come some people pray early Fajr, others pray? Yeah, because it's the same issue I said about the Isha issue. The same issue happens with regards to Fajr. So because the whiteness doesn't disappear, for Fajr to start, the whiteness has to disappear, the horizon goes black, then the whiteness has to reappear again. And this is where the problem is. Yeah, what do you do about Fajr then? So this is why some of the scholars, they will split the night into half. It's called Nisful Layl. And they basically say from Maghrib all the way up till sunrise, you split the night in half. And then wherever that half is, the second half you treat it as Fajr, first half treat it as Isha. So they use that method. Aspiring Cog, mashallah, good to see you. Always nice to see you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Hope you're enjoying the blessing of summer. And today the rain was blessing, mashallah, as well. And it's very nice for the plants as well. It saves me time from having to water all the plants, guys. Did you guys see the pictures I put up today of my plants in the garden? Yeah, so when it rains, the pictures are nice, like they're moistening the plants also. The pictures come out really good. That's the trick. How does one concentrate in Salah fully, and how does one strengthen their tawakkul and faith? Okay, these are two good questions. I don't know the absolute answer, but I will tell you how I achieve this. So with Salat, what I do with Salat is this. Look, before you pray your Salat, make sure you pray Nafil. If it's time is allowing it, pray Nafil. At least 2 rakats of Nafil pray. Okay, that's one thing. Number 2 is when you pray your Salat, make sure the recitation, you don't read the same surahs. Try to read a longer surah, a different surah. So when you're used to reading the same surahs, you go into pilot mode. I found that with myself. So try to read a longer surah. Number 3 is when you're going into ruku, make sure you read the tasbihat of ruku 7 times or 9 times, and in sujood as well. And if it's a nafal, I find this, I do du'as in my nafal sajda. So I take time, I read some du'as. I've started this recently. All my nafals, I just do du'as, and I find it brings a lot of peace to my salah. I actually enjoy, I can't wait for the next salat so I can pray that. It's a very nice, tranquil feeling. That's how I find with my salat. Number 2, with tawakkul and faith. Tawakkul and faith is something which, is just like, it's like this. You try your best, and then after you can't do any more, you leave it to Allah. Yeah, so it's like, for example, like, you're basically, anything you're doing in life, you're trying to look for a job. You put all your CV out, or you look for all the options, or you're looking for a spouse to get married to, or you're looking for a house to buy, or you're looking for anything of that nature. You try your best, and then after that, you just say, look, Ya Allah, I've done my best I could. I'm leaving the rest to you. That's what tawakkul is. Tawakkul literally means to rely on. So you're relying on Allah after you've done your best. So make sure you've done your best, and then you leave it to Allah. Will we get rewards, hasanat, for helping people who are not Muslim? Of course, everyone. Yeah, any good deed you get reward for, 100%. Amjad Ilahi wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan, my brother. Amjad Ilahi, hope you well. Jazakallah khair. I think my mosque follows the 1 hour opinion too. My question is, can I still pray Maghrib at this time if it's still bright? Yeah, so I would say this. If you pray at 1 hour, if you're going to, so stick to one time, don't pick and choose. Stick to one time, whatever time you're going to choose, and then pray. You can pray your Maghrib all the way up to that time, if you have a reason. Otherwise, Maghrib should always be prayed ASAP. It's makruh to delay Maghrib without an excuse, according to all the madhabs. Under what circumstances can we combine? Under what circumstances can we combine Maghrib and Isha? I mean, according to Hanafis, you can't, but according to other madhabs, the Shafis, if you're on a journey, yeah. So if you're on a journey, you can combine them. Do angels also write what we say silently in the heart? No, not in the heart. They don't know what's in the heart. Only Allah knows what's in the heart. But it's whatever you utter on your lips and you perform with your limbs. Wa alaikum assalam, Qamar Initiative, ahlan wa sahlan. Have you ever seen a karama of any nature? I don't know, I mean, see, what happens with the karamas? I think people get too they get too fascinated with like supernatural things, and they blame they kind of like attribute anything to supernatural. Oh, other day my ustad was coming and the lights changed yellow for him. Oh, supernatural event, karama. Yeah, the other day my ustad was about to sit down and there's no chair. Then all of a sudden a student quickly threw a chair and he sat on it. Karama. So I think a lot of these karama things, I think it's just over exaggerated. That's what I personally think. Yeah, and people just love their sheikhs to have karamas and blame everything on a karama. Where it could be just a normal thing, just a normal event that happened. But I mean, there are certain times where certain things happen where I think to myself, Allah's intervention happened there. Yeah, Allah's intervention happened there. Again, if you want to call that karama, you can call that karama, but there's no specific definition of what karama is. There's an ikhtilaf between the scholars about this whole concept of karama and between mu'jiza. Maryam, alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan. I mean, like one kind of situation of karama could possibly be where, like, on one occasion, maybe I was in a situation where I had no money at all, literally no money at all. I was stuck in a place. And from nowhere, like some guy I've never seen for ages pops up there, like randomly. And I managed to get a lift with him. Yeah. And it was like one of the strangest things that happened. Again, sometimes your dua comes true. Allah intervenes. But karama is usually associated with something that goes against the norms of the universe, isn't it? Maryam, alaikum assalam. If one does not know dua qunut, what can he read? Any dua in that place. If they don't know dua qunut, then any dua like Rabbana atina fi dunya hasana. Umar, alaikum assalam. Haydar, assalam alaikum. If I fulfill the arkan of Salah and wudu of the Maliki madhab, can I join Salah on a journey to avoid too much difficulty? Yes, possibly. Is sickness necessarily an indication the person is sinful? No. Regarding combining Salah, I've seen some Hanafis combine Salah when traveling, and they cite Hanafi scholars. Is this wrong? I mean, they're most likely taking opinion of a different madhab, but nowhere in the Hanafi school is combining Salah permissible at all. The only thing that's permissible is like you delay the Maghrib all the way until just before Isha, and then you pray the Isha just at the beginning time of Isha. Yeah, that. And there's another opinion later some Hanafis have, which is known as the shared time opinion. Yeah, the shared time opinion is basically if it's Zuhr, so between the one shadow and the two shadows, you pray the Zuhr and Asr for a traveler. But otherwise, there is no such thing as combination of salats. Let me just open the window a bit. It's a bit heated here. Nice. Okay. All right. Allahu Akbar. So I hope everyone is well. Today I have my nice tea over here. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Tea's feeling so nice. This is actually decaffeinated tea. I'm cutting down on caffeine. Yeah, caffeine is not good for you guys. Yeah, I find lots of benefit. Like physically, I feel much more healthier cutting down on caffeine. I don't know if you guys drink a lot of caffeine. If one is young and dyes hair black, is that allowed? Prophet said no. So some of the scholars have allowed it if it's for a young person, which they're not deceiving, basically. Yeah, so some of the early scholars have allowed this. and some have given an A, some Hanafis I know. Rashid Ahmed Lodianwi, I think he gave an opinion of 35 years. About 35 years. If a person about 35 years old and they're having this strange whiteness in their hair, they can put blackness in their hair. That was his opinion. I'm studying fiqh mu'amalat from Quduri in my alimiya. Have you covered this in your series yet? I've actually done fiqh al-buyu. You can check it out. Go on my YouTube channel. It's called Trade. I've actually done a whole section there. And on my uruk.com, I've got almost the entire Quduri there anyway. But it's paid one, that's a paid one. And if you've been watching the 1 minute videos, yeah, so 1 minute videos I've been making recently. Today I put up the 20th part of it. And I've been going through mu'amalat in a very quick and short way. Now I can tell a story of my Ustaz Karam. That's it. Wa alaikum assalam. Do angels have intellect similar to humans? They seem to ask questions. So we don't know what intellect is. Like in reality, we don't know what intellect means. Like we don't know the spectrum of intellect. If we had other case studies of intellect, we can put it on a spectrum and say, okay, human intellect is at this range. So we don't really know. But clearly, because they can ask questions, that does show that they do have some sort of awareness and consciousness, yeah, to a level. May Allah bless you in the way. Ameen. Ameen. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much, Umar. May Allah bless you too, my brother. What are the responsibilities of the people who have gained knowledge to pass on that knowledge? That's the main thing. You receive knowledge, pass it on. If one has prayed the fard of Salah of Dhuhr, can he delay praying Nafal? You mean the sunnahs, you mean? You're talking about sunnahs? Assalamu alaikum. To curse a specific person in general haram, correct? But what about if a madhloom curses a zalim? Is that allowed? Yes. To curse a person who specifically deserves it is allowed. Yeah, so if someone has done something bad to you and you make dua. Cursing, basically, what do you mean by cursing? Cursing means you ask Allah to punish them, isn't it? Yeah, so if a person has done something bad to you, you can ask Allah to deal with them. That's permitted. And just generally, you just kind of keep the sifat, the description general. Haydar Ali, if I don't know Qurbani was fard and I can't remember if I paid or not for a few years or if I even had enough money, how do I go about rectifying this? Yeah, so you estimate, just roughly work out how much you think, how many years you think you haven't given Qurbani, and slowly over the years start to pay that money. So the amount of money that the Qurbani roughly was, try to find the cheapest one and then slowly over your life start paying it off. Ihsan, since it said Madloom's dua is always Tawakkul was extremely strong before the age of 11. Duas were answered like clockwork. More of a struggle yeah, it happens. The thing is, I think when we become adults, we tend to rely too much on like the means, the asbab, and we tend to lose this idea of like faith. The idea of what I mean by lose faith, as in like lose this idea of trusting in Allah. Allah will take care of things. Because when you're young, you have lots of trust in your parents, and you build this concept of trust. Why is the first person mudari sometimes used with fa'il to mean third person mudari? It's confusing, that is. Why is the first person mudari, like, okay, aftahu, sometimes used with fa'il to mean third person mudari? Can you give an example? Yeah, give me an example and then I'll tell you. I don't know. I'm not too sure what you're saying here, but you gotta show me example. Qamar initiative is here. Ahlan wa sahlan. Can a person study a fiqh book individually? Yes, they can, and they might make lots of mistakes with it. The idea is study a few of the core books on your own, and then the others you can read on your own. Masir Adi wa alaikum assalam, my brother from another mother. Kayfa haluk? Alhamdulillah, very good. Thank you very much. Sharif Will, your hitter tweet. Is that an Arabic proverb? Yes. Did you press the translation button? I think you did, didn't it? Daraba yadribu darban fahuwa daribun. That is why you should never trust Twitter. I called Yasser al-Habib, a person who made Lady a kafir to my brother. Should I repent? I don't know why people need to call people kafir. I don't understand. Why do we need to call someone a kafir? Unless you're trying to make someone else realize something. But the idea of kafir is something which obviously Allah is the one that calls kafir. If there's a person who's causing a big problem and you're an influential person, you're a scholar, and you need to make people aware of what this person is saying, that's fine. But I don't see why everyone has to go around just like kind of saying this guy's a kafir, this guy's a kafir. I don't understand. I personally don't understand. Like, I think people get into this trend. They hear scholars calling someone a kafir, then everyone says, right, guys, this guy's a kafir. Like, my uncles and aunties and parents don't even know who Yasser Habib is. They have no idea who he is. Yeah. So me going to them and saying that, Mom, listen, right, there's a guy called Yasser Habib, he's a kafir, okay? It doesn't make sense. So I don't know why people are in this kind of trend. Of course, he's out of the fold of Islam. If obviously everything he said, and he hasn't done tawbah, and he hasn't repented, from that. Okay, Zed, what is the minimum requirement in knowledge of fiqh? I don't know. I don't understand your question. Like, what do you mean minimum requirement? Do you mean before you start studying it? Dina wa alaikum assalam, mashallah. Dina, long time no see, mashallah. Can one eat octopus tentacles? According to Hanafis, no. Yeah, according to Hanafis, no. But if you're going to eat prawns, then then why draw the line for, basically? Yeah, I would never try it. It just, when I go to the shops and I see it there in a package, it just looks nasty. I don't know, has anyone ever tried octopus? I remember when I was in madrasa, some of my roommates, they were from Malaysia and Indonesia and Thailand. They used to eat octopus. And I just look at it, I think, no, sorry, mate. I don't think so. Not from you. I ain't got time for that. Was that famous kind of like that saying? Ain't nobody got time for that. I think the person is confused between fa'ala and af'al in their mudari forms. I said it out of anger. Salam Mufti, is it allowed for a person to navigate between opinions within a madhab, e.g., if the madhab follows Imam Hanifa's opinion, am I allowed to follow? No. Yeah, no, you can't do that unless you're someone who is a very knowledgeable person and understands and his research has led him to believe that another opinion is stronger. Then you can, otherwise no. Otherwise, then it's picking and choosing. Because in the Hanafi school, sometimes you literally have like 5 to 10 opinions about a particular masala. So you don't just go and choose. You have to find the one which the scholars have given preference. It's because they live in Birmingham and are surrounded by crazy people. An example is Rabbukum a'lamu bikum. No, a'lamu is ism tafdil. Yeah, a'lamu is ism tafdil. Rabbukum a'lamu. Your Lord is most knowledgeable bikum, or regarding you. If I personally feel that opinion is stronger, I mean, I don't know how much you've studied, brother. No offense to you, Ian, but if you're coming on here asking me questions, I don't think you've studied that much Hanafi fiqh. Yeah, there's no offense, guys. Yeah, I don't mean to be offensive, but if you can only like reach a level in Hanafi fiqh where you obviously can find all the answers yourself. Yeah, so what I would say, if you feel an opinion is strong, speak to a Hanafi scholar who is an expert and ask him, is this opinion strong or not? And then that person will tell you. I mean, if I feel that this medicine, if I have 2 medicines in front of me, I feel this medicine is better than this medicine, right? That means nothing in reality because I'm not an expert in medicine. So you don't want to gamble your religion. You don't want to gamble your, following, being obedient to Allah just because you feel something. What kind of mistakes can a person make when studying a fiqh book individually? Like they can make loads of mistakes. They can make mistakes in understand what is the stronger position. They can make mistakes in missing words in texts. There's lots of missing words in texts. So someone, like for example, like there are some text words in Hanafi texts which actually, if you read it in the wrong way, you can actually totally misunderstand what the Masala is saying. There could be typos in the books. There could be like outdated opinions that some scholars had held, but then other Hanafis had dismissed those opinions. Maybe I mean it might be a good idea for me to make a video just to show what kind of how it could be problematic, just to try and read fiqh yourself. I think he means farz ain. Is that what you mean? I've had octopus soup in Zanzibar. How was it? Any good? Should zakat be given from any benefits and Should zakat be given from any benefits and pensions? Don't understand. So Zed, what you need to do is you need to watch my zakat crash course, and in there I explain about the 5 types of zakat assets. I mean the minimum knowledge of fiqh we should have, or the basic that you should have. Yeah, the basic fiqh you should have is any question that pertains to your particular 24-hour day. So whatever in your 24-hour day, let's say, for example, you're leaving your house, what fiqh do you need to know about leaving your house? What fiqh do you need to know about, you know, meeting someone on the street? What fiqh do you need to know about buying stuff from the shop? What fiqh do you need to know about earning a living, and so forth? So yeah, fard ain. So just like Masir said, yeah, Masir, you're right. How would one perform the research for a masala and choose the strongest position? And that requires reading, lots and lots of reading. Like literally, you have to exhaust all the books of reading to reach a level where you understand what the masala says, you understand where each masala gets their dalil from, you understand the strength of each dalil, you understand debating amongst the dalils, you know how to counter each dalil, and you know which opinions have been preferred by scholars and which opinions have been dismissed by scholars. Yeah, that in short, basically, that's how much fiqh you need to know to truly be able to reach a level where now you know this opinion is stronger than this one. How's your week been? Any interesting bike rides? Yes, I did bike rides today to work, Monday and Tuesday. Then I hurt my calf, so I had to rest for 3 days. So I haven't done no running this week because of my calf, and I did cycling. So not that much. Hopefully tomorrow, inshallah, I'm going to do some cycling. Hopefully tomorrow. If you feel an opinion is stronger, is that based on your own logic? Of course. Yeah. If you like, if I go take my car to a mechanic, and mechanic says to me, look, you can have this, it might be this problem, it might be this problem, and I think to myself, you know what, I think this one. Let me just roll the dice. So a person who's not trained in that specific science, there's no offense to anyone, but they are literally the same as a person who knows nothing. Yeah. In the sense that they can't weigh out the dalils to show which one's stronger. If I'm busy, can I pray qadha namaz? It depends why you're busy. Like you should make time for salat for everything. Salat should be the most important thing in your life. Unless it's something extremely important, extremely like life-saving or something of that nature, then otherwise the Prophet ﷺ never missed his salat on time unless it was something really crucial. Wa alaikum assalam, Eskhan, ahla wa sahlan. Did you like the pictures of the flowers? Yeah, it was nice and rainy outside. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to take some nice pictures with the raindrops on there. Calling for kafir, negative things in general can be dangerous for one's own will. This is a question I'm asking you. Is it two questions? Calling folks kafir, negative things in general? I'm trying to read it how you would say in American. Yeah. Calling folks kafir, negative things in general can be dangerous for one's own well-being. This is a question I'm asking you. Yeah, I mean, the point is, look, the Sahaba didn't go around just like calling people kafir. It wasn't like some kind of like a trend where one guy's kafir, right? Everyone, let's get together. Yeah, I think this is where people misunderstand the whole concept of takfir. They think it's once someone has called him a kafir, everyone, right, in the house, everyone, guys, all sit around, guys, okay, come on, down table, right, call him a kafir, right, you goes on, come on, well, come on, hurry, say it, oh, you, get him, you say he's a kafir as well, and you. Yeah, I think it kind of becomes like that. Is it true Imam Ahmad Hanbal saw Allah in his dream? Yes, this mention about him that he would see Allah in his dream very often. Yeah. So, subhanAllah. Imam Ahmad was a very pious person. His life, you read about his life, so amazing things, sacrifices this guy made. And that's why his book, despite it being so big, has survived over the years. Qabuliyah. Allah has accepted. Yeah, subhanAllah. Blueberry, wa alaikum assalam. When will you resume Arabic podcasts? No. I've just been quite busy, tied up with things. I don't know, maybe after Eid. I was thinking after Eid because the moment, and then I don't know if I'm going to Pakistan. So if I go Pakistan, then obviously it's going to have to start in September. Then, so at the moment, because I'm the only guy that's running it, so it's difficult for me to do lots of things. But hopefully I am going to resume, inshallah. Do you have videos about Jannah? Mr. Jannah, unfortunately, I don't. If I complete your Quduri series, actually check my Surah Rahman series. In Surah Rahman, I've actually talked about Jannah in the verse of Jannah. Haider Ali, if I complete your Quduri series, would my understanding of the book be sufficient for teaching, supplementing, and any studies I'm doing individually? After you study, so it depends. What do you want to, like, after studying Quduri, you need to study another book after that. like hidayah to understand the dalils of the masail. So Quduri won't give you the dalils. He'll just give you exposure to the masala in and of itself. If you want to understand the dalail, the evidences, you need to study something like hidayah. I didn't like octopus soup, but could have been a bad chef. We'll probably need to. Yeah, Zanzibar sounds like a nice place. I want to go Zanzibar one day. Okay. Did you make dua when it rained today? Alhamdulillah for the cool weather. You know what? Yesterday was proper hot. It was so hot. I literally like on the class, I was like tired. I had Juma as well. And then like got home, did my live stream, got on the sofa, lied down. I think I went to sleep for about half an hour or so. Proper exhausted. The heat. Yeah. The more you learn, the more you realize how deep this element is. Definitely 100%. Fiqh is that vast knowledge. Like if you think you study fiqh for 5 or 10 years and you grasp fiqh, forget that. That's a joke, that is. Unless you got a really photographic memory. Fiqh requires years and years of, like, because fiqh is to do with understanding, isn't it? And understanding is only something that can really like ripen when you have experienced understanding. So fiqh is theory with application as well. What inner madhab schools are there today for the Hanafi madhabs? Can you take our usul from the old schools within the Hanafi madhab, like the Samarkand? Of course, yeah. Yeah, you can. Definitely. Also, can we do taqleed following the usul of a mujtahid imam in the school? Yeah, but I don't know what you mean by the usul. Like, what do you mean by the usul? Yeah, what do you mean, like, following the usul? Do you have a cat? Yeah, I used to have a cat, but I don't have it. In my new house, I haven't had a cat. I want to get one, inshallah. Hopefully next year I'm going to get a cat. American accent, you like it, man. Yeah. Jazakallah khair for your explanation, but does your response also apply to normal people cursing proven dhalimin? Although, yeah, again, how, like, maybe for that individual who's done dhulm to them, that's fine. But then to curse people, unless they've done a categorically like kufrun bawah or open sin that everyone clearly knows. Generally, the Prophet ﷺ rarely would ever curse a specific individual. Like if you want to follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet would rarely curse a specific individual. He would generally just use their sifat and say, may Allah destroy anyone who does such and such. And then if we learn someone from a family member having done horrible things to his wife, can we wish Allah's punishment upon him? Or would only the wife be allowed to curse him? I mean, why do you want, I mean, there's no offense to your son, but why do you want Allah to curse him for? Like, why? So that's the only thing. I don't understand why people want someone else to be harmed. Like they've done something to a particular individual, of course. But if it's something very personal to you, that woman was your sister or someone, and you feel like it's harmed her particularly, or your family as well, I can understand that. But if it's like some neighbor, his wife has been, he's been, we don't know the whole story. What is the whole story behind this? Of course, there is no justification for a man beating his wife. Yeah, but it's just you gotta look at it that way. And I generally use the sunnah method would be that you would say that if this person has done this and this is zulm, or Allah, you deal with him in the best way. When I travel, I usually combine Salah. I have also combined Isha with Maghrib, and I've been absolutely shattered. Yeah, go for it, bro. No offense taken on start, but sometimes when there's two opinions that are very conflicting, it makes you doubt whether what you're following is correct. I go to for mechanics, and 3 tell me this issue, and 1. Yeah, okay. Fair play, bro. Honestly, the 3 days podcast would be nicer to resume. Good jokes, funny stories. Yeah. Unfortunately, we've all kind of become more busy with our work. So Nav, his father's quite ill at the moment. So we go for him. He's had an operation yesterday. And Altaf is quite busy as well. And so our timings just don't fit together. What is the full name of that book and the author? The book and the author, I don't know which one. Your American accent is real bad, bro, but it's comical. You like my American accent? Yeah, man. My American accent. It's like goes high pitch. High pitch in the back of my throat. Will there be people who will be exempted from passing Bisrat? Inshallah. Inshallah. So that everyone has to. The Quran says everyone has to go over it, but some people will be exempted from the pain of it. Obviously, they swiftly pass through it. The Quran says, وَإِن كُم مِّنكُم إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا. So everyone has to go past it. No one's gonna miss it. But if Allah wants someone to miss it, then it's up to him. Sheikh, why is kana sometimes used for present tense? Wakana. So this is what we call kana for emphasis. So this is not for present. It doesn't mean present. It actually means emphasis. Allah is Aziz Hakim. It's for ta'kid. Like minor matters as well as furu opinions, but mainly their methodology, thinking. Yeah, you can do that. That's very good, definitely. And it's good. You need to diversify your understanding of the Hanafi school. Study other like approaches. Sheikh, for example, like Abdul Hayy Laknawi's approach, or Sheikh Salah al-Hajj's approach, or Sheikh Abu Zahra's approach, or Sheikh Zahid al-Kawthari's approach, or maybe even like many of the scholars of Indian subcontinent, yeah, their approach as well. Again, it's very, very important not to just restrict yourself to one like particular region of the world where you're just learning the fiqh that's kind of transmitted in that area. Is read up on different books so that you have a wider understanding of how Hanafi madhab is implemented. Let me know if and when you want to go Zanzibar. I have a lot of links there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe, inshallah. Why not? Do you usually give Jummah khutbahs? Yes. The book to study after Quduri, Hidayah, I would say. I usually teach Hidayah after Quduri. Will there be people who will be exempted from Hisab? Inshallah. Yeah. So everyone will have a Hisab in the sense, everyone will have like to go through their book. But then the niqash, where where you're questioned about why you done this, that is where a lot of people will have to suffer, and some people will be exempted from it. Don't worry, I didn't take it personally. I was asking simply out of curiosity, since I never quite understood the boundaries regarding this topic, and since my sister recently also asked me about it. Yeah, so it's good. But the thing is, I think sometimes what happens is something becomes a culture amongst people, and then people just like Muslims will go a bit crazy. Yeah, like doing it like really intensely and thinking this is to be a Muslim, you have to do this. What hope is there for someone who wishes to cover all of women-related fiqh, divorce, inheritance, etc.? Are there any good books, non-misogynistic, please? May be any written by female scholars? I mean, the thing about fiqh, yeah, you can read the Hanafi fiqh books, obviously, all the Hanafi fiqh books related to nikah, talaq, all those kind of masail. The Hanafi like fiqh is not written in a misogynistic way. That's never the aim. Fiqh is always based upon dalil. That's what it's always based on. But sometimes an ijtihad might be based upon a certain concept in a particular community, right? And you can't avoid that. So, for example, like, we have certain norms in this community. Maybe in 500 years' time, those norms are going to change drastically. And the way that the question that was asked to me today, if it was to be asked in 500 years' times, there'd be a slight adjustment in that answer based upon the norms. So yeah, so I think the Arabic books would be like perfect for that. I don't know if there's any female. If you want to read, for example, menstruation issues, then there's like Hadia. I think her name is Hadia Hartford. Yeah, Hadia Ashraf or Hadia Hartford, who's written the translation of Birkawi's manual. Yeah, maybe you can read that. But I don't see a difference if a woman writes a fiqh book and a man writes a fiqh book. There's not really going to be a difference on the issues. It's going to be based upon particular culture. Again, so there's not going to be a misogyny. You have to, I would say, is every time you read a fiqh book, try to understand the politics, the culture that was going on in that particular century and that particular location of the earth. What was happening at that time? And then you'll see how certain masail were shaped regarding that. And usually you get this in fatwa books. So if you read, like, for example, like Indian subcontinent fatwa books that were written, 60 years ago, 100 years ago, and then you clearly see there's quite a few opinions that they might have, which is clearly based upon an understanding of the society at that time. What are the main school approaches in the Hanafi madhab? Oh, there's loads. Yeah, there's lots and lots of approaches. So there's not like a fixed this approach, that approach, that approach, that approach. Scholars themselves have various approaches. Imam Hidayah has his own approach. Sarakhsi will have certain things. You'll have Kasani has slightly different things. Fath al-Qadir, Ibn Humam has different things. Then you have later on Ibn Humam, Ibn Nujaym has different things, Ibn Abidin. Yeah, so there's approaches of different scholars. So the number of scholars there are, literally, there are subtle, slight different approaches. My teacher from Umrat is Mufti Barakatullah. Do you know him? I don't know him personally. I've heard of him. Sheikh, are you familiar with Al-Sharif Hatim Al-Auni? Yeah, I'm familiar. Assalamu alaikum. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu visit to Taif is one of his many gold standards for tolerance. Apologies if that came across a bit sad, but that wasn't my no problem, my brother. No problem. Yeah, I apologize if I came across a bit rude. I apologize, but I just like it was just generally. That's why I said no offense. It was just generally just to all of you guys. Khalid alaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan, my brother. How do we know if Allah has accepted our tawbah? We don't know. We just hope. That's why we have in Islam, we have hope in Allah. If a person feels lust from seeing a woman on TV, like a news reporter, for example, what should a person do? Turn the TV off. Yeah. Yes, it'll be considered sinful. So I found Beheshti Zewar unreadable. Yeah, so again, so like for example, Beheshti Zewar was written in a time, in a particular location, it was like basically a village society it was written for. Yeah, village, and the people had already set norms. To think that our norms, for example, wherever Beheshti Zewar was written, let's take away Beheshti Zewar and just like look at the village, how the village ran, how the systems were. Yeah, those systems are not necessarily running according to Islam, they're running according to culture. And some of that culture might be influenced by Islam, but not all of it. And then, if a person that turns around and says, "Oh, this book is written wrong," yeah, this book was not written to represent what all women are supposed to follow in the Hanafi school. This book was written for a specific sort of a niche area in the world. Yeah, so this is what I think people have a problem with this, because they blame it on the author, and they say, "Oh, the author was very backwards," or "the author was a misogynist." That can be said about any book. So any book that's written in history, it can be said about anything. Shakespeare's works, or even some other works. You can look at where it was written. You look at the language. You look at how the people said things, and it sounds very crude. Yeah, but it's all the societies in it. So again, it depends. I personally think this. A lot of Muslims living in, for example, have been exposed to liberalism, and have been exposed to feminism, and exposed to these kind of things. They can't go back to another way now. Right now, they've been exposed to all these things and freedoms. They're going to find it very difficult if a new government came that was a bit of a dictatorial government, like Russia or something. They'll find it difficult to live under that, and they'll always be in rebellion to it in some shape or form. And this is the problem that we have. This is why we have to understand our limits in Islam. What are our limits? Like what is permissible for me? What is not permissible for me? Very important to understand that. And like I said, the authors of these books that were there, they only gave fatwas according to that particular society. And then if they passed away and someone took their book and now has, made their book into an international book, then again, that's not something which. Okay, let's just check. Is there anything else in the Curious Cat? No, Curious Cat's been quite quiet. So once I complete your Kuduri series, I move to Hidayah. Yes, that's right. Masir Ali, you're welcome, my brother. Is there any opinion in the Hanafi school for combining prayers whilst traveling? No, there isn't, because it goes against the usul of the Hanafi school. It's like the primary usul of the Hanafi school is that the Quran is given preference over everything, and the Quran has said that salats are established in a specific time. And the hadith regarding combination of salat, because they're not categorical, that the Prophet ﷺ ever said to anyone that pray two salats at one time. We never have any hadith that he said. And the only situation that we have is in Hajj. Yeah, so that's the only situation is Hajj. In Arafat, combination of Zuhr and Asr in the Zuhr time, and Maghrib and Isha in Muzdalifah in the Isha time. That's the only categorical one that we have. Okay, Salam, do you teach from Nur al-Idah, and is it considered primer? I don't teach, yeah, but it's a good place to start. Yeah, it's not as important as Quduri. Quduri is very important because it's a very classical text. Classical Hanafism has a slightly different approach than later Hanafism. What is a good start? What makes someone a scholar? So basically, the recipe for making someone into a scholar is that a person who understands the Quran as it was revealed in the time of the Sahaba. That's what scholar is. So someone can. What do you reckon? What now? What do you need to understand the Quran in the days of Sahaba? Well, you need to know their level of Arabic. That's why you study Nahu, Sarf, Balagha, everything that was at their level. And then you need to know the extra piece of information that the Prophet ﷺ gave them regarding the verses of the Quran and regarding Islam. And that's why we need to understand Hadith. And then you need to understand the application of Quran to the society. Like, how does Quran apply to society? And for that, you require thinking fiqh. Yeah, so that's basically what makes a scholar in short. What is a good starting book for Hanafi Usul al-Fiqh apart from Shashi, which is a bit difficult to follow? So my series, I know I'm kind of like blowing my own trumpet here, but my series, 28 lessons of Usul Fiqh, you can get it on uruk.com. Yeah, it's a paid course. But that is, I teach that everywhere. Yeah, and alhamdulillah, my students are studying Usul Fiqh, and I've been teaching them for many years now, and they now can gradually move up to Usul Shashi, Nur Anwar, Sarakhsi, and they can understand it very well. Alhamdulillah. Zob, why is used instead of in o? Atadari aqrab am ba'id? I think the verse you've got reading wrong. لا أدري أقريب ما. Yeah. So this is is used. Why is used instead of o or in? No, in can't be used here. أقريب. So لا أدري أقريب ما توعدون قريب أم بعيد ما توعدون. So this would be, so O is used when you have an option of two things. Yeah. And is generally used when like I think is used when it's like a particular question, a specific type of question. So this requires understanding two types of sentences. There's a sentence which is called, I don't know how much you studied Zob, but this goes into a bit of advanced balagha. It's talking about sentences that are tasdiqi sentences and tasawwur sentences. Yeah. So su'al tasdiqi, su'al tasawwuri. So when you have like a question that starts with yeah, that's a specific type of sentence that is. And that is the one that you use with. And O is used with other types of sentences. So kul hadha or hadha, eat this or this. Sorry, Sheikh, this might be a bit stupid question, but in wrestling, you see half naked women. Yes, not allowed to watch that. Yeah, you don't watch that. Yeah, Jazakallah khair, Amina. Al-Hidayah, Sharh Bidayah Maghani. Is this the book? Yes, that's the one. I've sent you some of my favorite pics of Zanzibar. Okay, I'll have a check in a bit. Sorry if this is a possible taboo topic on the channel, but can one say that all 2-3 schools of Aqidah are valid as fiqh madahib? Yes, all the Atharis, Ash'aris, Maturidis, all valid. What is a good starting text in Arabic or for Balagha? So, I mean, again, HK, no, this is not blowing my trumpet again, but again, my Balagha course, I haven't found a Balagha course that deals with like Balagha in the Quran as the one that I've designed. It took me a long time to design it. Because a lot of the Balagha courses are not designed for non-Arabs, designed for Arabs. So the one that I've done is purely from the Quran. What is the process of Dawratul Hadith, you mean, I think. And what are the expected learning outcomes? What is the process? I don't understand. What's the process? If I break wudu in Salah, do I have to restart Salah or can... Remember, if you haven't hit the like button, guys, make sure you hit the like button. And anyone who's interested in studying Quranic Arabic 17 lessons, then send an email to this address. It's a £50 course. You know, you think about it, how long are you going to live your life where you're not going to be able to understand what the Quran is saying? Think about it. How many more years do you want? Do you want 1 more year? You want 5 more years? Do you want 10 more years? You want 50 more years that you read the Quran but you don't know what it's saying? So it obviously makes sense that ASAP, sort yourself out, learn what the Quran is saying. Yeah, every Muslim should at least know what the Quran is saying to them. So this is the course, Quranic Arabic 17 lessons. If I break my wudu in Salah, do I have to restart Salah or can I continue where I broke? So you can continue where you broke it off. Assalamu alaikum. Is the concept of Quran being recited on you before you going through some major, for example, traveling, exams, innovation? If you believe that this is the way that it should be done, this is how Islam tells us, then it's an innovation, because we have no record of Sahabah or people doing this kind of practice. But if you believe that it helps you, but you don't necessarily believe that this is established from the Sahaba who did it, then it's fine. What should you study first, Al-Aqidah, Al-Tahawiyah, or Kharida? First of all, study Quran, my brother. No, seriously, this is no joke. Study Al-Quran. Go through the entire Quran. I heard that. I don't think you've gone through the whole Quran. I was under the impression that is interrogative, i.e. used for questions. Yeah. And there's some questions that you can use O for as well. What level of knowledge or qualification we need to teach Islam to others? Study a structured course. So basically, find a structured course that does a whole Islamic course. Then you can teach. Alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan, Anas. What did you tell the hairdresser to get a haircut like that? Yeah, I know. I told him, bro, just cut my hair, man. Make it a bit shorter. And he goes, no problem, sir. And he's like made my hair like a hedgehog. Like, how is Dawrat al-Hadith taught and what should expect to gain from it? So this is a very big topic, Haider. Dawrat al-Hadith is just studying the 6 books of Hadith. You're going through all of them, and each book has its own slight way of teaching it. I don't have time to go through each one now. It's quite... But first of all, Haider, what you need to do, look, you ask too many questions, you do. You need to focus on one thing, because every week you seem to asking the similar questions. You're asking questions about usul, you ask questions about fiqh. Start your fiqh and go through that, and then ask the next questions about the next level. Otherwise, what happens? I've seen this with people. Some people, every single time, they'll be asking the same questions. Like Rona's not here today, but he was in the beginning. Same questions, and then later on, so Haider, you need to act upon your ilm. You've learned the ilm now. So now, learn fiqh properly. Then after that, worry about Dawrat al-Hadith. Because you haven't studied usul hadith. Have you done my usul hadith course? Have you gone through it all? Shall I test you on the usul hadith? Shall I test you? Those of you guys who are asking me to put me on the usul hadith course, shall I test you guys on the usul hadith? Okay. How do you make Salah most important thing in your life? Thank you. How do you make anything the most important thing in your life? You tell me. So whatever you make the most important thing in your life, that's how you're supposed to make Salah. How do you make your children the most important thing? How do you make your work the most important thing? You give it value. You give it importance. You take out time. You structure your schedule around it. Are you familiar with the law of attraction? No. Aren't Muslims believing in it committing some sort of shirk? I don't know what law of attraction is. Anyway, guys, I'm going to finish there, guys. So, Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much for turning up today. May Allah bless all of you guys with a happy weekend, a blessed weekend, a Mubarak weekend, and keep you protected, keep you safe. And also make dua for Naveed's father as well. Naveed's father is ill. May Allah give him shifa kamil, and anyone else whose families are suffering, going through some illnesses, may Allah give all of them shifa kamil. All right, guys. So I will see you guys all next time. So what is the wisdom in Allah using kitab referring to? Again, next time ask me, Sharif. This is like a long thing. Exam Sheikh, which shara would you recommend for hidayah? So it depends how good you are in fiqh. Are you a beginner in fiqh, or are you intermediate in fiqh, or you're advanced in fiqh? And then how good is your Arabic? Because different sharas have a different purpose. I've actually written a long tweet on this, on the whole concept of shara reading. And why some people just go overboard in sharas. If your teacher is good, if you're good at, so you don't need a shara to understand the book. The whole point of a book is just to understand the text. Shara is only there for like extra things like you're a bit confused about. The shara, the teacher that you're studying from should be able to explain to you what the text is saying, right? And that's the whole point of studying from a teacher. Shouldn't need a Shara. Shara is there for some external discussions and advanced topics. You're welcome, Ihsan. Ma alfi salam. MashaAllah. That's Arabic I taught you, bro. Yes, I'm doing Quran translation, studying Quduri, and going through Arabic literature. Shall I stick to? Yes, just stick to that. Yeah, stick to that. Trust me. Inshallah, there's barakah in there. And my usul, make sure you do my usul as well. Usul hadith. Ameen. May Allah, Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. Barakallah, Jazakallah khair. All right, guys, take care, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.